Tabata over the road. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 rounds, or 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 rounds. This is exercise number 1. We're just gonna do a basic squat. So feet shoulder width or a little bit wider. We're gonna sit down through our heels, pushing through your heels, squeeze your butt, stand up nice and tall. So how it looks from the side, core is tight. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Squeeze your butt when you stand up nice and tall. All the way down, all the way up. If there's pain with any of these exercises, make sure you don't do it. You can personal message me and ask a question if there's something that doesn't feel right when you're doing the movement. From here, we go to a split squat. So with this one, feet are shoulder width apart. You're gonna step back, slightly out, straight down, squeeze that glute, come up. So this is a little bit harder than what a basic squat would be. Pushing through that front heel. So from the side, again, you're stepping back slightly out. That helps with balance. If you have a hard time balancing, it's not good to have that foot right behind the other one. So we're slightly out, staying nice and tall. You can tap your knee all the way down, or you can start with a partial range of motion. So you're squeezing that front glute, coming up, back down, up, back down. Okay? From there, we're gonna advance. We're gonna go into a reverse lunge. So from the front, we're gonna step back and down, squeeze that glute, come up. Step back and down, come up. So this is a little bit harder than what a split squat would be. You have a little bit more balance involved because you're moving that foot forward and back. From the side, weights in that front heel or full foot there, back, straight down, and come up. Back, straight down, and come up. Think of it as one fluid motion. From there, we're gonna progress. We're gonna do a walking lunge. So I'm gonna walk down here. We are gonna step, weights in that front foot, straight down, squeeze that glute, come up. Step, straight down, squeeze that glute, come up. So these are the same exercises I have in the one that's over the road. That video, it's just clearer audio, better video overall. So try to tie those two in, please. 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I don't have a timer beeping today, but that was the 4th progression. Then we can progress to a curtsy. So you're gonna come forward, or I'm gonna come forward. You're gonna step, instead of stepping back like a reverse lunge, you're gonna step back and across. Straight down, squeeze that glute, come up. So more balance involved in this because you're going not directly back or out, which is easier. You're going back behind that front foot and then across, pushing through that heel, squeeze that glute, come up. Okay, so from the side, we're here, stepping back and across. You can tap that knee down. If you're not to that level yet, you can do a little bit of a partial range of motion. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up, you're squeezing that glute. This is gonna get the glutes activated more than the other exercises. This is exercise number 2, prone W retraction. So going down to onto our abdomen, hands are out like a W. We are gonna pinch our shoulder blades down and back like you're putting them into your back pocket. You can either hold this the full 20 or 30 seconds, or you can come down each time. Make sure you're not straining through your neck. Make sure you're breathing. You're gonna do those 8 rounds again. From there, if that one's too easy, we are gonna go into a renegade row hold. So I'm gonna go into a plank position. Core is tight. Think of pulling your rib cage to your hip bone. We're gonna raise one hand up, feet are shoulder width. I'm just counting to 3, making it a little bit more challenging. Otherwise, you can go just alternating, raising the hands up. Like you would if you had dumbbells, you could always progress to that. Alternating that full 20 to 30 seconds, or you can do the pause holds. 1, 2, 3, and down. 1, 2, 3, and down. Make sure you don't shift through your hips. So from a renegade row hold, you're gonna go up to a plank 1-arm row. So I'm gonna use my bench If you're in a semi-truck, what you would do is if you have a towel or something, you can lay down on that step where you go into your truck. I would do that. So you can go to a hand plank there. Feet are gonna go back, wrist is under the shoulder. You're gonna pinch those shoulder blades down and back. And we're coming down, full range of motion, all the way up. One arm row. To make it a little more challenging, you could go down to the elbow plank. One arm row. If you have weights, use weights. If you don't and you're over the road, use a water jug. The next one we're gonna do is a reverse fly. So obviously if you're in a semi-truck, most people don't have weights in there. So I'm gonna use a milk jug and water jug, fairly similar in weight. And I'm gonna pinch the shoulder blades down and back. I'm gonna hinge first. So think of someone pulling your hips back. You're gonna pinch those shoulder blades down and back. Exhale when you pull back, inhale when you come forward. How it looks like from the front is those shoulder blades down and back, all the way together and apart. Together and apart. So that is a reverse fly. The next one is the TRX row. I am gonna use the TRX. If you are in a semi-truck, what you are gonna do is use your grab handle that you use to get into your semi. I would start with both hands on that grab handle. You're on your steps of your truck, hopefully the bottom steps, so we're nice and close to the ground there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna extend our arms, pinch your shoulder blades down and back. Think of putting them in your back pocket. You're gonna row up and back down. Row up and back down. You are pulling your own body weight. To make it more challenging, what you can do is a one arm row. So down, and pinch the shoulder blade down and back. To get full range of motion, you can let that arm round, lock it back, and then row up. Let it round, lock it back and down, row up. So to do the other side, you'd have to go to the other side of your semi. So not ideal if you're doing a Tabata timing session, but just to get that workout in, you could do 15 reps or 10 if you're just starting out. Exercise number 3 is the dead bug. We are gonna do a lot of variations with this one. So the first one is we're gonna lie on our back. Wrists are right over the shoulders, knees over the hips, and we are just gonna alternate tapping that heel down. So the biggest thing with this one is make sure your back does not leave the floor. Again, think of pulling your rib cage down to your hip bone. Make sure you're breathing. Another variation of the alternating heel tap, we are gonna make it a little bit harder, and what we're gonna do is opposites move together, right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg. Maintaining that back position. If your back raises up, you are basically wasting your time doing this exercise because it defeats the purpose of even doing it with that back raising up because you're shutting that core off. So opposites move. Again, you're doing 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or if you want it a little bit easier, you are going to do 20 seconds and 10 seconds rest. So if that is too hard going all the way down, you're just gonna do a partial range of motion. Okay, your hands and feet stay up. A lot of people tend to bring, when you're doing opposites, they like to bring this hand down. Make sure this stays right over your shoulder, okay? From there, we are gonna go to a stability ball dead bug. So this is gonna be harder yet. The ball is gonna be above the core slightly. If you're in a semi-truck, obviously you are not gonna be able to do this one unless you have a stability ball in your truck. So knees over the hips, wrists over the shoulders. You're gonna press, so you're pushing your knees up, pressing your arms down. You're creating tension through that core, forcing that back down. Opposites move. And you'll find out really quickly if we're doing this one wrong, because you'll lose that stability ball. Again, opposites move. So it would be 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 rounds. Okay, to progress from that, you could use a water jug, or if you have weights, you can use weights. So I'm gonna use a water jug because this program was designed for if you're over the road. I'm gonna have both hands around it. Make sure you don't drop it on yourself. Knees are right over your hips. So I'm gonna extend the arm overhead as I extend one leg out and back up. Again, I'm maintaining my back position. If my back raises up at all, I'm shutting that core off. Make sure you're breathing. Opposites move. This is a very challenging exercise, and if you're doing it through 8 rounds, you should feel it 100% in your core. If you don't, we're doing something wrong, and please let me know. Please message me and ask. Exercise number 4 is a lower body pull. So I'm going to go into a 4-point position, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And what I'm going to do is, core is going to be tight. I'm going to extend one leg back, back and up. Okay, so for one full round of that 20 seconds on, 10 off, or 30 seconds on, 10 off, I'm going to stick to one side, extending that leg back. After you hear that timer beep, you go to the other side. Okay, if you're in a semi-truck, what you could use is a broom handle to sweep out your truck. It's the same thing, same concept as if you had a PVC pipe. What you are going to do is one hand is going to go behind your head. The other hand is going to be on that low back, or that right above hip line. And what you're going to do is feet shoulder width apart, core is tight, you're going to hinge. If that broom handle or this PVC pipe leaves your back like this, we are doing something wrong. We want to think of if you had a belt on and someone's pulling your hips back, that is what's happening. So my knees are staying in line with my ankles, I'm hinging, my core is tight, and I'm getting a good pull on the back of my legs and those hamstrings. Okay, so a broom handle would work the same, or a paint roller, a long ratchet, anything, as long as it's not heavy and you can hold it behind your back here. If that is easy and you get that form down, what you can go to next is 2 water jugs or 2 weights. So in a semi-truck, it's more ideal to have water jugs. So feet shoulder width, you're going to keep the weights nice and close to your body all the way down. You're pushing your hips back, coming down to about mid-shin, getting a good pull on the back of your legs, squeeze your butt, stand up nice and tall. You're hinging all the way down about mid-shin, squeeze your butt, come up nice and tall. So again, you're doing the Tabata segment, 30 seconds on, 10 off, 20 seconds on, 10 off. Whichever one you are at, make sure you do 8 rounds. And you can pick from these 3 variation exercises. This is exercise number 5 of the Tabata semi-over-the-road segment. So what we're going to do is a sideline tricep push. You're going to lie on your side. So come down to the floor. Bottom arm is straight. Other hand is over, aligned with your chest. This should not hurt the hips. So what you're going to do is exhale, press up. Think of pulling your shoulders down and back, or that top one. If that is bothering your hip bone, roll to your glute more, and you can press up. You're going to get a shorter range of motion, rather than if you roll more forward. You can get farther range of motion with this one, so therefore it's going to work that tricep a little bit more. 30 seconds on, 10 off, or 20 seconds on, 10 off, and then you would switch sides. So from there, the other variation is you are going to go into a plank position. Usually wrists would be out under the shoulders. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the elbows under the shoulders, and we're going to go into that plank. Think of tucking the tailbone, rib cage to your hip bone. You're going to push through the palm of your hands. You're going to press up and back down. Press up and back down. So make sure you're breathing. Okay, if you do 8 rounds of that, your triceps are going to be burning. Okay, so the third exercise that you could advance to is, I'm going to use a bench. You can use the steps of your semi-truck, put a towel down, and you're going to go into that hinge movement. So you're going to bring your hips back. Your wrist is right under your shoulder. You're going to lock that elbow back, pinch the shoulder blades down and back, and you're pressing straight back behind you. So this, again, is going to work that tricep. So basically, anything that is about knee height, you can hinge down to. So you're here, lock that shoulder blade down and back, and you're pressing. You would do 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or 20 on, 10 off, and then you switch sides to that other hand, same range of motion, same movement. Exercise number 6 is for the core. What you're going to do is lie on your back. We are going to do a reverse sit-up. So you're lying on your back is pressed in, hands are by your side, and you want to think of pulling your knees towards your forehead or towards your chest. So you can start here. If you don't get your hips up very far, that is okay. You can bring your legs straight too. That should help get a little bit of momentum coming up, and then nice and controlled on the way down. That is going to get that core firing. You're going to feel it in your abdomen. And even if you only get your hips up just this little range of motion, we are still going to get that core firing. Okay? So another variation of this, or to make it more challenging, is you're going to do a reverse sit-up twist. So reverse sit-up, and you're twisting your hips at the top. Again, your back, when you come down, your back should not leave. You want to keep that back pressed into the floor. You're coming up, twisting, back down. You do 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Exercise number 7 in the TABATA segment is a mountain climber. So you can use the steps of your semi-truck going into them. Again, put a towel down so it doesn't hurt your hands. You can do a mountain climber where you're driving the knees up. You can start with walking them out, or if that's easy, running in up and down. If that is easy, what you can do is you can advance it a little bit, go down to the elbows if you have enough room on those steps. Driving up, or running stationary, driving those knees up. Make it a little bit more challenging. Again, you want to start from the hands again, and plank position, tuck the tailbone. Think of your rib cage to your hip bone, and you're twisting across. Okay? So mountain climber twist, or a drunken mountain climber. To make it harder, you go down to those elbows, twisting across. The farther you twist, the harder it is, or the more your core fires. This is exercise number 8, the last exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to do a crawl. We're going to go down to our knees, wrists under the shoulders, knees under our hips, opposites move together. You're doing baby steps, small range of motion. I would just start with this movement. If this is easy, then what you want to do is you want to progress to a 4-point elevated hold. So knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. You're holding that 30 seconds on, 10 off, or 20 seconds on, 10 off, times 8 rounds. If that is easy, then what you want to do is you want to advance to actually crawling. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under your hips. You're elevated, opposites move, baby steps. Your knees stay up. Do not bring your butt way up in the air. We want to start keeping it low. You should feel this throughout your entire body. You can mix it up a little bit. So if you have a flatbed semi-trailer, you could do it on that trailer. It is not the cleanest, but that is okay. Opposites move. You can do a backwards crawl. That makes it a little bit more harder. Or what you can do is you can do a crawl drag. So this water jug, if you don't have weights, you're using something else, obviously. I'm going to keep my handle kind of upward. I'm going to go into that crawl position. What I'm going to do is elevate. I'm going to drag. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and drag it forward. 1, 2, 3, drag it forward. Before you move that weight, try to lock those shoulder blades down and back. This should not hurt your shoulders, should not hurt your knees, should not hurt your hips. Nothing should hurt. Make sure that you're doing baby steps. And usually it's 1, 2, 3, and then drag, and then you'll be alternating sides as you're dragging. So that was my 3rd crawl, and then I drag.